Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about... just about to call this Wizards of Valley View. Villains of Valley View Season 1, Episode 4. I swear to God, this show is too similar to Wizards. So this was a really cool episode, and they introduced a new character. I hope he's going to be a recurring character, because he's hilarious. So it starts off, and they're at school, and... what's her name? Amy needs to get into her locker, but there's a guy in front of her locker who's next to hers, and he has it wide open. He's just blocking her and stuff, and he can't decide on what equipment he needs, um, not equipment, like tools, he needs for school and stuff. And he's like this ultra nerdy dude, and he reminds me so much of Urkel and stuff. And so she can't stand this guy, and then she finally gets in her locker. And so basically in this episode, it's Mother's Day, and villains don't celebrate Mother's Day or any holiday, except for their overlord appreciation day, which is every day. And so they have no idea Mother's Day was even a thing, which how in the world they never hear about this. So anyway, because Cecile let them know, it was Mother's Day and stuff like that. So the mom wants gifts, and she wants plenty of them. And if they don't give her gifts, she's going to spin this evil wheel and torture them. Oh, this show. So, while at a country restaurant, Vic and Jake are deciding what they should get their mom. But Vic, the husband, he has spent all the money on himself. So he sees that there's this bull riding contest, and you get $500 if you win. He tells his son to use your super strength so you can stay on the bull. The son is kind of we're not supposed to use our powers and broad daylight and stuff in public. But the dads are it's for a good cause and everything. So they're gonna win the money and get the mom a really good gift. And so while this is happening, Jake ends up getting the highest time, right? But then he realized something. His dad's running a side hustle, and his dad has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars in his pockets. So Jake is furious about this. But I'm thinking to myself, why don't they just take that money and go buy something? But the dad wants to keep it for himself. Oh, so villainous. So it turns out Jake won't get the $500 until he beats the reigning champ, which is Cecile, and she doesn't want nobody to break her record. So she is outriding Jake, and this infuriates Vic. However, Jake made a bet that if she wins, he'll give Cecile the money his dad's been hustling. Why? I have absolutely no idea. That's why Jake's like a goody goody two shoes. Now, on with Amy and Hartley. So, Amy really wants to get her mom a really good gift because she's never done that before, and she just wants it to be so special. Oh, by the way, Kobe's in this episode too, but he's barely in it. Basically, his helmet is still stuck on his head from last episode. So the mom tries to get that off, but she can't. So anyway, Hartley sees that there's an auction of superhero stuff and supervillain stuff. And so they go there, and it's a guy under a cloak. But Amy, being Amy, takes the cloak off his head, the hoodie part, and it turns out to be the nerdy guy who blocked her locker. So in his home, or in his garage, he has a bunch of superhero stuff and a bunch of supervillain stuff. And he gets this stuff because his dad does the taxes for a bunch of superheroes. And so Amy sees a belt that belonged to Serge. See, originally she wanted a mask, a supervillain mask, but it was already sold. But she wanted a belt that belongs to her mom. Well, it's $1,200, and she doesn't have that. So she makes Hartley cause a distraction, and she steals it. The alarm goes off, and she's just whatever, and casually just walks out the house. So in a way, she gives it to her mom, and her mom's all excited and stuff. Then there's a knock on the door. Of course, the dude has a tracker on all his stuff. And he's all I can see it's in your basement. She's like, we ain't got no basement to this house. Of course, it's the supervillain lair. So he's not leaving. He said he'll contact his dad's superhero friends and they'll come get the belt because she stole it and everything, you know? So they lead him into the lair blindfolded. And he thinks it's like a supervillain auction lair. Like he has like his memorabilia stuff. So anyway, he wants the belt back. They won't give it back. And he's all like, fine. He'll duel them for it. His superhero stuff versus their supervillain gadgets and stuff. So he busts out a lightsaber. So it's the three of them against him, and they're like fighting and squaring off until the mom uses her real electrical powers. And he's all like, you wasn't wearing no device. She's like, well, my vice is invisible. So he believes it. But then all of a sudden, Amy uses her sonic waves. And he thinks that the device that she's using mimics that of Havoc, and he thinks Havoc has a annoying squeaky voice, which of course pisses off Amy. And so then he basically wins and he's going to take the belt, but the mom's all kind of like, oh no, wait, that belt's a knockoff, because she knows, because when the last time Surge wore that, one of the superheroes like knocked off a piece of the belt and that piece is now back on. So he's upset that it's a knockoff and everything. I assume she was just lying, but no, she's actually telling the truth and stuff. But so of course he still wants to, well, he's pissed he has a knockoff, but now in comes Kobe with his helmet on and he loves that helmet. And Amy's kind of like, well, if we give you the helmet, you have to promise to never tell anybody about this place. So he hits the latch on the helmet and takes the helmet off, which nobody else even thought about. Hey, the helmet has a latch to it. So anyways, the mom tells, Amy that, Mother's Day is more about getting gifts. It's about spending on with those you love, because that's what Hartley taught her and everything. And so that was a nice little lesson to learn. They learned it at the very last minute and for a couple of seconds and stuff. And the mom told them, she got rid of the torture wheel and everything, because, it's just not motherly at all. And this is just like a cool episode. I really like the nerdy dude. The nerdy dude was just like awesome. You really believe he's like a nerd. You know what I'm saying? And I really hope he's a recurring character, because he was just too hilarious. Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.